I'm going to have a quick look through how to use SMID Trends. So this is a tool that's found on the main dashboard that allows you to have a look at trends over time. So that means from the start, you can look at someone all the way from year 7 all the way through to year 11. You can look at a whole cohort like that. You could look at a couple of years on the trot. You know what I mean, like how has biology performed across different years, that sort of thing. So it's designed to allow you to have a look into that information. All we're going to do here is just going to have a little go, have a little mess around. Not really got anything particularly planned, but just to show you the idea of how you can actually use the tool. So the main thing is it's found on the main page, SMID Trends, up and down arrow. I click into it. I then get the option of key stage 3 and 4 or key stage 5. I'm going to look at key stage 3 and 4. So it is quite a comprehensive tool. There's loads of different things you can do on here, but we're just going to have a little play with it and see what we can find out. So I'm going to drop down this data capture. As you can see, those are the year groups I've actually got data for. So let's have a little look at some trends over the last few years. So I've got year 11. I'll pick that spring data capture. I'll take the spring data capture from the year before. So yeah, we've got it for the year before that as well. So I've now got data for 3 years running. As you can see, I've got fairly plain data. I've got progress 8, I've got attainment 8, I've got the different buckets or baskets, depending on how you refer to them. So it basically just creates that as a table. I can then look at those, see the trends that might be occurring. Now, I might not be interested in those measures in any way whatsoever, and I might want to look at a completely different set of measures. So, for example, let's say I want to keep the progress 8, I want to keep the attainment 8, I want to get rid of all the buckets, and let's put something pretty abstract on. So I want to look at ATL score, and let's have a look, English and Maths 97. So now I've clicked those. As you can see, my data's changed along the top. So I can see how many 97 I got in English and Maths, 0 clearly in a couple of years, and ATL score, I've got that for a couple of years. I haven't got that for my 2021 data, but you can see that information there. It just shows that you can use it to look at different trends. As progress over time, the different things have different effects. I'm looking at my ATL score here. My ATL score here is higher this year on average than it is this year. Yet my progress 8 is way worse. So that's obviously, obviously this data is completely fake, but that gives you an idea of how you might want to look at how does ATL affect progress 8 across multiple year groups, that kind of thing. So I can put that information in there. As you can see, there's loads and loads of different measures that I can use. But what I might want to do is actually look at groups. So I might want to put a specific group on this. So let's put let's just say I'm really interested in SEN. So I'm going to put my SEN on there. And as you can see now, my table extends out. I've got my progress 8 for all, but then I've also got it for SEN. I've got my attainment 8 for all, but also got it for SEN. And I can keep adding to that. I can keep putting things on there. I can say, let's just look at high ability students. How does that compare? All SEN high ability students. How does the progress 8 score compare? How does the different, measures compare? It's really, really easy to use once you get your head around it, because you just literally can pick on and off these, these options. I'll take those off. I'll take them off and back to my original table. I want to swap for a different measure. I don't want English and Maths 97. Let's say I want English and Maths strong pass. I put that on. It comes back up. It gives me that 95 in English and Maths. So that's there showing, straight away. Again, I can put different groups on. Let's look at low ability students this time, for example. And I can see the performance of the low ability band. Really, really easy to use. Hopefully you can see. Now, all of that I can export. I can show the gaps. If I want to look at it as gaps, it will show me how how it actually compares from one year to the other. That's a sort of toggle option. Quite clearly you can see why, because it puts loads of extra data on. If I want to look at the gap from the year above to this year, I can look at that really easily. So I can take the gaps off if I want. Now, I can also export to Excel. I think I just said that, but you can get it out into Excel once you've got your table made. And then an extra layer, I can go and have a look at subjects. So I think I've covered most stuff on there. I've picked my different groups. I've shown you can pick different measures. I've shown you can pick different data captures. You can make that table as long as you like. Put 40 data captures on there if you want. So instead, and also something I ought to just say, what I've done there is I've compared 3 different years, but I could just compare. I could have picked year 11 spring, then year 11 summer, and year 11 autumn, and had, you know, all my current year 11 laid out in there all the way back to when they're in year 7. So it's not just about comparing different cohorts. You compare the same cohort through the years as well. Okay, just quickly, I'll go on to comparing subjects. So when I compare subjects, it takes the year group I've already picked. So it takes the year groups, the data that I've already picked, the data captures. So if I want to select subjects, I've got to say for year 11 spring, I'm going to look at it, let's look at English language again, and obviously I could actually pick maths if I wanted to, I could pick different ones, but I'm going to tell it I want to look at English language each time, and that then allows me to make those comparisons, so I can see, in English language, how has the data changed, okay, how have the things changed through the year. We've got the 97, 95, 94, P8BC, APS, cohort size. Again, same principle, pick different measures. Don't want these things on here that I've got, maybe don't want to see P8BC, I want the ATL grade instead. I can see the average ATL grade. If I like ATL score actually, because it actually gives me a decimal. So I can see the average ATL score. Do you see what I mean? So I can see quite easily, how much progress, in different, how to have departments compared year on year with different cohorts. Or again, like I say, if I pick the same cohort through the years, I could see the progress that year group was making. And again, it applies exactly the same way. I want to go and look at any of these groups. Just to be clear, these groups are just my own groups that I've got created. I could have any groups created in here that you could use. So that would be obviously up to you as a school. But I've got here, so I can put my pupil premium or disadvantaged students on there. I can see straight away how that compares, and I can add the non-disadvantaged students as well, and I can start getting, I want to compare my PP to my non-PP and that kind of thing. So it's really, really, really easy to use. I'm just going to take those off just to show you a couple of other features. Again, gaps, show the gaps if that's useful, to be able to see the change. I can export to Excel, and also I can create a comparison chart, and that comparison chart will then show me how things have changed over time in terms of the grades. Okay, yeah? So the percentage of students achieving certain grades is then plotted on here like a curve. So it just allows you to compare one year group to another year group, because it's looking at that actual number of grades that students have achieved at different levels. Okay, so that hopefully is really easy to use. Let's just do that example where we use internal, just one year group through multiple stages. So let me go right back to the home. I'll start it all again. So go into SMID Trends, pick the key stage 3 and 4. So let's say, like I say, I want to look at year 11, through a few year through time. So let's say we're going to look at their summer data capture, but right away from back when they were in year 7, let's say. So I can put their year 7 summer one on, their year 8 summer one on, year 9 summer, year 10 summer, and year 11 summer. And now once I've got that in there, I can play around with that. I can see the progress that's been made. So I can go, okay, I don't know, let's see how your ATL grades changed over time. Let's take the buckets off, and let's see, your English and Maths 97, how has that changed over time, if that makes sense. So I can see that all the way through, or I can maybe I'll put the standard pass one on. So I can see, is that improved? As you expect, that the amount of students achieving that has increased over time. So it's really, really easy to use to make those progress throughout the years. The same principle applies. I can go and look at the subject level. I can go and have a quick look. Let's do maths this time. Let's just say we want to compare maths. I put it on here, and I can just see, and I can add English to this as well if I want to. I can put as many layers on as I like. But let's just have a look at maths. So I can see, has the average point score in maths increased over time? All of that's really, really, really easy to use. Okay, I think I put that on in a bit of a weird order then, but that's, you'd put it on the right order and you'd be able to see the order correctly. So it's really, really easy to use. Hopefully get on there, have a play around with it. It should mean that you can pull up pretty much any data that you want to look at, that you want to see the trend, see how it's changed, how progress is working. Are things that you're putting in place making a difference over time? difference over time, because you'll be able to see that, because you'll be able to plot it. You can say, oh, we've started doing this in maths, or this in English, this in science, and you'll be able to see, is that having an impact over time? And that's what this tool's really there for, to really be able to show that really quickly. Okay, hopefully you find that useful.